What were you thinking when your hand touched that knife?
It felt like the only thing that would help me.
Get out of here! No!
Emergency services responded to a suburban neighborhood in Connecticut after a chaotic incident involving high school students. The scene was overwhelming. Teens were in distress, and several had sustained serious injuries. One of them, 17-year-old James McGrath, lost his life as a result. The incident stemmed from rising tensions between students from different schools. At the center of it all was Raul Valle, a 16-year-old student from St. Joseph High. On that night, he and his friends had attended 2 gatherings. According to investigators, conflicts escalated, eventually leading to Valle using a folding tool and causing harm to 4 individuals, none of whom he knew personally. The trial began on June 17, 2025. The surviving students, all from Shelton High, testified against Valle. Investigators claimed the confrontation was a continuation of an earlier dispute at another party, with heated words exchanged through a group chat. Valle and his friends reportedly went to a second house, where a physical altercation occurred and multiple individuals were hurt. Valle's legal team argued that he acted out of fear after being surrounded and physically attacked. He rejected a plea deal that would have resulted in a 40-year sentence, choosing instead to go to trial. Eyewitnesses described the night in emotional detail. One attendee, a girl present at the second location, said she was worried the situation would spiral out of control. And it did. According to testimonies, Valle and his friends were inside a car that became the focus of a crowd. Bottles were thrown, the vehicle was shaken, and the group eventually left, only to return moments later. At that point, a confrontation broke out on the lawn. The folding tool Valle used reportedly belonged to another teen, but he ended up holding it during the conflict. Prosecutors argued that returning armed showed intent. One of the key pieces of evidence was a video recorded by the younger brother of one of the individuals involved. The footage captured the moment when several participants were injured, including McGrath, who later passed away due to a chest wound.
14th of 2022. Do you remember that day and why?
I do. It was probably the worst day I've ever experienced. It was just a lot, and I lost a very close friend that day.
Another student who received multiple injuries to his leg said he initially thought it was rain soaking his clothes. Only when he used his phone's flashlight did he realize his leg was completely red. He hadn't even realized how serious his wounds were until later. Witnesses testified that Valle returned to the car holding the tool and made a brief comment suggesting he may have hurt several people. He claimed his actions were in defense of his close friend who was involved in the fight.
You had on in your vehicle on May 14th of 2022? Is this the knife that that the defendant was looking for on May 14th of 2022?
Yes.
You indicated that you had this in your center console. I'm going to show you states 32. Picture of the inside of your car. And when you say your center console, are you indicating that this area here, or are you indicating the glove box?
No, the center console.
So I'm pointing to the left of states 32, the center console area of the car.
Yep.
And you had taken it out of this area and put it on your lap, and you initially got the 43 Laurel Glen. And when the defendant asked for the knife on May 14th of 22, tell us about what happened. Did you give it to him? What happened? You gave him the knife? And when you gave him the knife, why did you do that?
I wasn't really thinking. I just gave it to him. He asked for it. I gave it to him.
Here's a knife! Here's a knife! Here's a knife! Get out of here! No!
When you heard he has a knife, what was going through your head?
I was just like, oh my God, what's going on? Are you talking about he has a knife?
Did you know who he was referring to when you heard he has a knife?
Well, that's at the point where I saw, a couple seconds after that is when the defendant was near,
It's okay. Take a second.
The defendant was near Jimmy, and he was lunging towards him, and I just saw him go up to Jimmy. And Jimmy stays there for like 2 seconds. And I looked over and saw Tommy with, there was a flashlight pointing down on Tommy's leg. And he had blood all over his leg. And I looked back at Jimmy, and at that point his shorts were just all bloody. And I just stood there. I didn't know what to do.
Just the ground, and people were just stomping and kicking and punching everywhere.
Did you have the knife in your hand at that point?
No,
Where was the knife?
it was in my pocket.
Could you see any way to escape?
No,
Did you try to get up?
yeah,
Could you get up?
no.
Why not?
There was just so many people hitting me and just everywhere.
What could you hear?
They were yelling and just, it was so weird. They were just yelling like, I can't even describe it.
Did you hear anyone say, "Yes, sir"?
I heard a whole bunch of things I can't. It's a good thing.
Could you hear anything from Mr. De Silva?
No,
Could you see the vehicle that you had arrived in, Jack Snyder's car?
no,
Could you see any way to make an escape from your position? Where were the other people that were kicking you, as you've described it?
all around me, on top of me, behind me.
Could you see who was on top of you?
No,
Could you tell what the person or persons that were on top of you were doing?
hitting me,
Where were they hitting you?
my head, the back of my head, kicking at the front of my face, my ribs, everywhere.
Did you get the sense that they were going to let you up and let you go?
No.
What did you do at that point?
I went to cover my head in like a fetal position.
Did that seem to have any effect? What did you hope would happen if you went into the fetal position?
That they would stop.
Did they stop?
They did not.
Put us there on that lawn with you in the fetal position. What were you feeling?
Hopeless, scared, terrified,
Why hopeless?
because they just weren't stopping.
How were you feeling physically?
Hurt,
What hurt?
everything.
Did you lose consciousness?
After the first hit, yeah.
What happened next?
As I was in the fetal position, covering the sides of my head and the top of my head with my forehead into the dirt, I was almost like hunched over, and I reached in my pocket and grabbed the knife.
What were you thinking when your hand touched that knife?
It felt like the only thing that would help me.
What were you seeing at that point around you?
My face was in the dirt. I couldn't really see. I just felt nothing changed.
Could you see Tyler De Silva?
No,
Could you hear Tyler De Silva?
no.
What could you hear?
Still just the same screaming. That's it.
Did the group give any indication that they were going to stop or let you up?
No.
What happened next?
After I took the knife out of my pocket, I started waving and just stabbing in every direction, just flailing my arm around.
Could you tell if you'd hit anything? Did that seem to have any effect on the attack?
No. It made me more scared.
Why did it make you more scared?
Because it didn't change what they were doing, and it didn't stop them from doing anything.
Were they still kicking you?
Yeah.
Was someone still on top of you?
Yeah, there were so many people on top of me.
Were you able to get up at that point?
No.
What happened next?
I kept flailing my arm around, just trying to get them away from me.
Were you aiming for anyone?
No.
Were you aiming for Ryan Hines?
No.
You weren't trying to kill Ryan Hines?
No.
What about Tommy Connery? You stabbed him 4 times in the leg. What were you trying to do to Tommy Connery?
Get them away from me.
Did there come a time when it was just you and Ryan Hines fighting one-on-one?
No.
Did there come a time when Tommy Connery separated you from Ryan Hines and was just there with you one-on-one, standing up?
No.
Where were you the entire time you were flailing? How were you feeling while you were flailing around with that knife?
More scared than before. Terrified. Just, it didn't make him stop even though I was flailing around a knife.
Could you tell how many people were around you at that point?
No.
What happened next?
Some flashes, but I just remember getting shoved into the car.
Did there come a point where you were able to stand up? How did you get shoved to the car?
I remember while I was in the fetal position and like flailing my arm around, I like rolled on the back of my heels and tried to jump backwards.
Did you know Tommy Connery before this?
No.
Did you know Ryan Hines before this?
No.
Did you know Faison Teal before this?
No.
Did you know Jimmy McGrath before this?
No.
Why didn't you just get in that car and leave?
I saw my best friend and somebody that I loved. Nobody was helping him.
How did you feel?
I was still terrified. But I couldn't just let him be there alone. I felt like I had to save him. I just walked up to my house.
Was anybody home?
Yes.
Who?
My mom and my little brother.
And what were they doing?
They were packing to go to Florida.
What was their reaction when they saw you?
My mom just started screaming and crying. My brother was just like holding his mouth open.
Did you explain how you'd been injured?
At that point, I didn't really know what to say. I couldn't even understand really what had happened, detail for detail. I remember telling her that I got attacked by a whole bunch of people.
97. Do you remember those texts coming in?
Yeah.
And she writes, "Are you serious? I hate you. Someone just called me and said you stabbed someone. You just ruined everything, Lito. Literally ruined everything for me. Answer the phone. IDK what to do. Everyone is texting me." I want you to read for us. What did you write back?
I didn't do anything. I wasn't there. Stop texting anyone. Stop answering.
I'll show you States Exhibit 98. She says, "Lito, everyone knows who you are. Everyone knows you're my boyfriend. What do you say?"
I know.
"Lito, everyone's texting me. What do you say?"
Stop answering. What happened?
"Don't talk to me." What do you say?
Okay, stop answering anyone.
She says, "You up, Lito." What do you say?
How? I wasn't there.
Did you expect her to believe that you had not been there?
objection that calls for speculation as to what she would believe.
Let me hear the question again.
Did you expect her to believe that you had not been there?
Overall, it goes to his expectations. You can answer.
No. I knew she knew I was there because she was with me.
Why did you say those things to her in that text?
Panicking, and I just didn't want her to worry at all.
At that point, did you think that someone had died?
No.
That friend, along with another participant, was granted immunity in exchange for honest testimony. During the trial, Valle described his experience as overwhelming and terrifying. He said he was knocked to the ground, surrounded, and couldn't see a way out. Feeling helpless, he instinctively pulled the object from his pocket and began waving it around in all directions without targeting anyone specifically. He insisted that he didn't know he had harmed anyone until much later. Back at home, his appearance reportedly shocked his family, and he was unable to explain what had happened. According to him, he learned about McGrath's death only after leaving town. Text messages between Valle and his then-girlfriend revealed his panic and attempts to deny involvement. Later, he admitted he wasn't honest because he didn't want her to worry. After returning from a trip to Florida, Valle learned there was a warrant for his arrest. He didn't turn himself in immediately, but later surrendered and was released on a $2 million bond. If convicted on all counts, Valle could face up to 110 years in prison. As of the latest update, the trial was nearing its conclusion, with a verdict expected shortly after the July 4th holiday.